Welcome everybody. In today's class we will be learning all of the available methods in Python. So foremost what I wish to do is I would be talking about the first method. So for that we will go to the VS Code environment. I got a folder there, and in the folder I have already opened a file. So this is the method that we will start off with, capitalize. So what does this do? This converts the given string to caps. So suppose you got a text is equal to welcome to the party, and you want this text to be converted. So you run the method on this text and then you print the message. Print the message. And then you print the text. That's it. So you save it with Ctrl S, go to the method, right click, open it in integrated terminal, and then enter Python, give a space and call the method. So when you run it, this is the output. So clearly you can see welcome, that's capitalized, to the party. So this is how the capitalize works. So it can say it converts the given string to, just to be more specific, this converts the first letter of the given string to caps, okay, to capital letter, or you can use the word uppercase. Okay, so that is fine. So now I'm going to comment this off. So let me close the terminal. So this is method number 2. Let me write that method 1, and this is going to be method 2. So we are going to look into this case fold. Now what does case fold exactly does? It converts the string into lowercase, right? And it's similar to the method lower. Okay, so I'm going to give in a text. So text is equal to the fermentation of bromine. Okay, probably say this is a heading or whatever it is. So we want to convert this into capitalize letter, and then probably there is some article. So the article is the process is talking about in detail how the bromine precipitated solution undergoes the change. Okay, so this is the heading, okay, and this is the message underneath. So what we are going to do is we are going to recap how capitalize works. So I'm going to say text underscore 1 is, I don't want to give this a time. Text underscore 1 is equal to text dot capitalize, and then article underscore 1 is equal to article dot case fold. Okay, so over here I'm going to print text 1 and then print article 1. Okay, so I save it, I go back here and I open this in the terminal and I run it. So clearly you can see this is the title, or it can be the, what should I say, the paragraph start. So clearly you can see it starts with this capital letter and then the process. So everything here is in caseful. Okay, you can clearly see that this is in caseful. But what we can exactly do here is we can rearrange this a little bit. So start this as a capital letter, right? We can say article. We can give the article 1 to be capitalized, and then for the caseful, probably what we can do is we can start the print in this fashion. So I'm going to make this slight variation in the print. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this print up over here. I'm going to have a print here, and then I'll place a comma, and then I will place article 1. So let me see how this looks. So open terminal, Python. Okay, so this is fine, right? The fermentation of bromine. Under this, it's a new paragraph, and then we are starting the content. So as I mentioned to you, you can use it in the way that you feel right. Okay, so let us move on to the next one. So this has to be commented. So let me comment this off. So for commenting, just press Control and / everything will be commented. So this is method. Okay, so let me give this text. Text is equal to, say, welcome back, and text icon 1 is equal to text dot center, and we will have to give in the spacing. Okay, center 50 comma asterisk. So you give an asterisk or a channel, and then you print this, and you save it, you go here, and then you get the output. Okay, you see that? Welcome back. Now you can actually apply the capital letters which I gave you. Okay, so text underscore 0 is equal to text dot capitalize method, and then after you've done that, you can come over here, and in this way you are actually mixing up, right? You are making two methods to work together. In fact, it need not just be 2, it can be any number. So clearly you can see W is capitalized. Now I want to give you one important information. Now instead of giving one character, if you were to give 2 characters and you save it, and if you were to run it, and you can clearly see this one run. You see that? It gives an error. So what is the error? The error is you are permitted to just give one character here. Only one character. Say I'm giving ampersand. Just give one character. You right click, you run it, and you see that? That's the output. Okay, so we will go on to the 4th method. Let me write that method down over here. I'll comment this off. So this is going to be method number 4, and the name of this method is count. Now this has the ability to count and returns the number of occurrences of a given substring, right? So if you are to check, use this. So I'm giving an illustration. So message is equal to, now some people always have the habit of saying okay, okay, okay. So I want to count the number of okays that this person actually used. So let me give this message. This is the way to do this. Okay, if you don't follow, it will, if you don't follow, okay, it will mash up. Okay, so better listen and obey. Okay, I hope you get it. Okay, so clearly you can see the message. So this is the way some people say. Some people also use, instead of okay, they'll use some other word like right, all right, and things like that. So however, I'm not saying it is right or wrong. It's the way people speak. So I always use the word right, correct, right, like that. So there is no judgment in this. So have that in mind. So just an illustration I'm taking here. So with this particular message, I'm going to apply this count. So count text is equal to message. I'm going to run this method count, and what you are looking for, you got to enter that as a parameter. You got to pass that. So print the number of times this word has occurred in the message, and then you can actually give that context, right? So that's the way you print it, and then you run the command. You open it in the terminal, run Python, and the number of times, so 5 times it has occurred. Okay, that's a lovely way to get the count of the substring. So I'm commenting this, and we will move on to the next one. Now this is more to do with the security. Now this method, this is method number 5. This is called as encode. Now this method is actually very powerful, right? Now this method encodes the given string into bytes. Now email communications are very crucial and very critical. Whenever you send an email, you need to make sure that the email is not interjected and read by some third party. To protect that, we use this encode. Now what does this do? It encodes the given text using UTF. UTF stands for Unicode Transformation Format, right? And let me give an example. So message, email message is equal to the deal is awarded to you to complete the formalities. Please submit dash dash dash, some important thing. Okay, please submit your IC or something like that, right? So this is a critical message. Now what do? We encode this. So email encoded is equal to email message, and you actually call the encode method, and within quotes you give UTF -8. This is how you need to give. You are looking to convert or encode the message into UTF 8-bit transformation. Now when you print this, print email encoded, you see how the output is going to look. So I'm going to open integrated terminal and Python. You see that you have a B there. So that means this is converted into bytes, and people would not be able to understand the content even if they're able to interject and get it. Now after this encode, there is this decode. Okay, so we can suitably decode this output. When time comes to use decode, I will show you how the decode is functioning. So let us just comment this off and let me go to the next method. So this method is called as ends with. Okay, now what does this do? This method returns true if the string ends with the specified value, right? Say for example, this will return true if the string ends with the certain value that you are looking for. Okay, so how does this work? Now imagine you are looking for a certain substring. So let me just give this message. So message is equal to, say you want this message to be printed. Say thank you Highness. Let me say thank you Highness. Okay, now this is critical. You want to ensure that the letter that is ends with this. Okay, right? So you are looking for that. Message check is equal to message dot ends with. So you are going to call in this method, and within quotes you open a double quote and you look for this Highness, and then you print message check. That's it. So you save it, you right click, you run the code, and then you say Python, and you say, is that true? Yes. So this email can be sent. Now this is actually an email checker, right? It can be used in text processing, because whenever you send email to people of high reputation and high standing, we need to be careful, specifically if you are an organization, because people get offended easily. Now if in case this is not there, right, if in case Highness is not there, thank you, something like that. Okay, I'm running it. I'm going to say Python, and it says false. That will mean the email has to be redone. Simple as that. So let me comment this and move on to method number 10. Okay, method 7. So what is this method? Method 7 is expand tabs. So what does it do? Expand tabs sets the tab size for the string. Sets the tab size of the string. Okay, so you need to give some spacing, right? So for example, this is the message. Message is equal to hi everybody. Hi everybody. How things are going. Okay, so this is the message. Now you very well know there should be a space there, right? So you can place in a tab space there. You can place in a tab space there, and you can place in a tab space here. Now let me just show you one thing. So all of these things are carrying a tab, right? Now it is your decision what the spacing is. Now usually when you print this, let me show you the message. Print message. I check, I save it, I right click, I say Python. Okay, so this is how the message looks. But you don't want this, you're not happy with this, so you're changing it. So let me put one more tab there. You're not happy with this, so what you're going to do is you're going to go here, you're going to call the method, right, expand tabs, and you are going to set a space. Say for example I'm going to give 10. Now you see the output. Now let me give you the output without tabs. So print message and with tab. So this is with tab, and the former is without tab. So I'm going to run it. So you can clearly see how the words are spaced. So that gives you a lot of flexibility in writing your own message. So that is method number 7. So now we are going to go to method number 8. Now this is also a nice method. Okay, this is similar to ends with. The only thing is that ends with looks for the ending. Alright, looks for the ending. but this method can be applied anywhere in the string. So let me write that method 8. So what is the name of the method? Method is find. Okay, find. So this method searches the string for a substring and returns the position. Okay, so this is a little bit more advantageous than this method ends with. So in this case, it has the ability to locate the very position where exactly this is occurring. Okay, now let me just take this to be the message. Message is equal to, imagine a person has to accept a contract and the person has to specify that she has read the contract and accepts the policy of the company. So the keyword is accept. The person has to write accept. So the person's message is like this: I have read the policy and accept them completely. Alright, so I want to look for this word accept as this person returned this. So this is the message from the employee, from a new employee. So you can say message check is equal to message, and then I am looking for find accept, and then print the word is found at comma message check. Okay, that's it. Simple code you're running on the email. So you open the terminal, you say Python, the word is found at position 27. That's it. So that's lovely. And if you were to count, definitely it will come at position number 27. Now what if the person hasn't used that word? I have read the policy and would like to discuss before I make a decision. Okay, so this is the message given by the employee. So the employee wants some time. So I would like to discuss the content before I make a decision. So in this case, accept is not there. So how would this method react? So I open it, in this case it says -1. So whenever the given substring is not there, the application does not break, but it gives us a -1. So have that in mind. So that's a lovely way to use the method. So control /. So now comes method number 9. Method number 9. Let me move on and give you this. This is a lovely method. It's called as format. Now what does it do? This method formats specified values in a string. Now how, whenever you wanted say for example, let me just say this is the message and you want to personalize this message. Say, hi dear, right? This is the personal message. Now it's actually, if you were to send this message, it would not be personalized. It will not look personalized. Okay, so this is the salutation. Let me just take it like this, and this is the message. Please make sure to be at the reception. Okay, so this, if you were to send this, say for example, I'm printing this salutation and I'm giving a space and I'm printing the message. Okay, I'm saving it, I'm running it. Now if you were to run this, you see that it leaves blank. Hi dear, please make sure. Now this is not a personalized message. If somebody is seeing this message, they will say, okay, all right, this person has invited many people and he doesn't even have the courtesy to put my name here, right? So we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that we treat our friends in a respectable fashion, a respectable manner, because friends are very important. Now, having mentioned that, let me just tell you how to do that. So you go over here, you can give a space, open a parenthesis, close a parenthesis. That's it. And then to make sure that things work well, what you need to do is you need to go to the salutation part and you run the format method. Format, you open a quote, and then what you can do is you can enter the name. Say for example, name is equal to input. Please enter the guest name. Right? Now when you enter the guest name, that would be caught and it would be placed here. Isn't it lovely? Simple as that. It would be placed here and the message would be printed. So if you don't want too much space, you can negate that. And this is how the method number 9 works. So I'm going to save this. I'm going here to the terminal and I will run the command Python. Yeah, please enter the guest name. So I'm entering Tom. You see, hi dear Tom, please come. Maybe you can place in a comma. Okay, but it's up to you. You want to place in a comma, it's up to you. So you can just place a comma here. That would be printed. And the outcome is really beautiful, right? So if you were to see here, the name is specified. All that you're doing is you're receiving the name and you're sending it. So if you have say 20 friends or 200 friends, you can individualize that information. So that is the case of the method number 9. So I'm moving on to give you method number 10. So let me give you method number 10, and this is called as format map. Now this is a lovely information, or I should say lovely method, format underscore map. Now what does it do? This method takes the, or let me write it like this. This method formats the string using a dictionary. Okay, so how does this work? Say for example, you got student number 1 is they're having the following information. So I'm going to say name of the student. Say you give the name as say John, and then you place a comma, then you give the age, give a colon, and then you say 25, place a comma, and then you say grade, and you place a colon, you place A, right? So you got a string, numeric and string. So this is information pertaining to a student. And now you want to actually give some, what should I say, you wanted to extract these information and print it out. So I'm going to say student underscore 1 to be printed. This is what has to be printed. So this is equal to, I'm going to actually take in the following information. So I'm going to open a double quote, open the parenthesis, and you get the name there. Okay, you get the name and you close the parenthesis, and after you close this parenthesis, John, and then you can give the message, John, we are happy to inform you of your award. Okay, so this is the content that you want to give. Now all these things have to be in double quote. So you push the quote out and you complete this. Now this will set into play only if you call in the format map. And when you call in the format map, as a parameter, you have to send in the data. Okay, and when you want to print it, you can simply say print student1 printed. That's it. Now this data actually can be used in several different ways. There is no restriction how you are going to use this data, right? And this particular information can literally be used for thousands of students, and you can change, likely you can change the information depend on what you want. So I hope you are able to understand this illustration. So all you need to do is open a double quote and place in the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, fill in the variable. So the variable you shan't, there is a space there. If there is a space there and you have replacing it, it won't work. So make sure that the same name is present here. Okay, so you need to be careful with regard to those informations that we are sending in. So I'm just saying that, John, we are happy to inform you of your award. That's it. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to run it. So I'm going to say Python CR. So the message is printed here. Okay, so that is about the format map. As I mentioned to you, the applications are immense. So I'm just going to comment this off and I'm going to move on to method number 11. So what is this method number 11? Index. So this is a nice method. So it searches the string for a specified value and returns the position of where it was found. Okay, now if in case it doesn't find it, if in case the string is not found, there is an exception. Okay, so have that in mind. So you will have an exception if you don't find that string. So let me show you how this method works. So I'm going to look for a certain message. What is a certain message? I'm going to say message is equal to, so let me give this important information. The land that the Incas had was filled with gold and diamonds. So this is the message, right? Now the validity of the sentence holds good and it strikes a meaning only if this word Incas is present. If the word Incas is not present, then there isn't any meaning attached. Okay, so I'm going to look for this message check is equal to, I'm going to send in the message and I'm going to call in the index. In index, I have to send in the parameter, what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Incas. So over here, decision, something like that you can give, and then message check. So if the string is found, then it will return the index of it. So let me run it. Okay, so 18. So the index is found at 18. Now if in case the Incas is not found, let me run it again and show you the output. So you see that there's an exception there. Okay, exception means the application will break. So you need to know where exactly to use such methods which are resulting in situations like this. Now the next is used for user validation. Now this is another method. Method number 12 is alpha num. Now suppose you want to create a user database, or I should say a database where your employees can access a certain privileged environment. Say for example, there is an internet website where your employees can play games. Now this is only restricted for your employees. So what you want to do is you want to collect the username as the information from all your employees and send it to this particular website's people so that they would give access to these following usernames. So the requirement is that they want that username to be alphanumeric. So this is more like a validation check. So what does it do? It returns the value true if the characters are alphanumeric. Okay, now let's check. So username, I'm giving a small value. Username input, or I should say a small line of code input. Please enter. So you're collecting it via a user form, alright? And then you will send it back. So you want the user to answer this request. So please enter say a valid alphanumeric username. This is the requirement. So upon entering, this is the username check is equal to username. You're running this. So alphanumeric. So this is the this is the command you are running. So if it is true, then you can simply give a check. If username check equals true, right, then you can print job complete, something like that. Thank you. And then you move on and give an else statement. Else no print please enter alphanumeric username. Now I'm going to run this code. Let me check if I were to save it and run it. Now let me show you the following things about alnum. This code, say Python str. I'm entering a name, say Tom122. This has got letters in the alphabet as well as numbers. Job complete. Thanks. So let me so that's fine, right? Job complete. Thanks. Now I'm going to run this code one more time and show you. So in this case I'm entering only letters, Tom alone, no 1 2 3. Now again it says job complete. Thanks. Excuse me. Now let me run it one more time. I'm going to say 1 2 3 5 6 8. It says job complete. Thanks. Fine. So you're catching the point. For alnum, this is very crucial to understand. The input can be only letters in the English alphabet. The input can be letters in the English alphabet plus numbers. The input can only be numbers. Fine, everything goes. But let me give you this. Now suppose I'm going to give, say, let me run this Python input Tom. I'm going to give this character, right? So what do you think the outcome is? You see that? Please enter alphanumeric username. You see that? This is greater than, lesser than symbol, and this is a dangerous symbol. You cannot use this tags like that. So that that is where alpha number or alpha numeric comes into play. I hope you got that essence. So having given you that information, now it's time that we move on to the next one. Now this is very crucial. The reason I'm saying it's crucial is that it is so unique, right? People might be thrown off the moment they see alnum giving a positive output, even for numbers alone and for letters alone. So that is how they work. Alnum is basically a powerful method that is actually used to protect websites. So having mentioned that, let me just go and comment, and now method number 13. So let me give this method number. Now this is alpha. Now this checks, this method checks if all of the characters belong to the alphabet group. I'm saying alphabet group or alphabet set. You know there are 26 letters in the English alphabet. So now let me just state this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. And so please input. So in this case I'm going to change the method. Instead of saying is alnum, I'm going to say is alpha. Okay. So what happens now? If this is true, job complete. Thanks. If not, please enter alpha. Please enter a valid username. Okay. So I'm saving it. So this is going to be functioning differently. So I'm going to say Python. Okay, I'm entering Tom or Thomas. Job complete. Fine. So let me execute this one more time and check this. Okay. So now I'm entering Tom123. Please enter a valid username. You see, it does not permit anything other than the letters in the English alphabet. So that's a beautiful method. So we'll move on to method number 14. So what does this do? Method number 14 is ASCII, right? Returns true if all the characters. Let me give the method ISASCII. So what does it do? This method returns true if all characters are ASCII. So how does this work? Okay, so let me just take in an example. So message is equal to yes, you are on the correct track. So this is a message, right? Now this method will check if all characters are ASCII characters. So that is the function of this method. Now you might be wondering, is not all characters are ASCII characters? No, we are using ASCII characters to do the communication, but not everybody are using ASCII characters. So you have to understand that. So this method just tells you is it ASCII characters or not. So just because somebody is not using ASCII characters in the message, it doesn't mean that the message is not valid, right? Because every system, now you have to understand this. If you are going to be creating a system tomorrow, you can create a system custom designed to suit you or to suit your purpose. Okay, so this check is only to check if the message has ASCII characters. That's it. So some students, they might feel that, oh, what is this? Is it something out of the blue? No, it's not something out of the blue. It's just a simple method. So if this gets true, I'm going to print this, print message check. Okay, that's it. So let me go run this line of code. So I'm going to say Python. So I will get true. You see that? I got true. Okay, so that's about that ASCII method. So I'm going to comment this and I'm going to move on to methods like isDecimal, isDigit, and isNumeral. Right now, this is method number 15. Method number 15. What is this? isDigit. Now, sometimes it becomes necessary for us to collect phone numbers or credit card numbers. So this method works like this: if all the characters in the string are numbers, then true is returned. Okay. Now let's see how this message is equal to input. Input, please enter your phone number, your mobile phone. You want this information so that if you are sending a parcel, you can double check with the client that the parcel has been received or not. But sometimes people don't give what you wanted them to give. So that is where the problem comes, and that is where these methods come in handy. So message check is equal to message.isDigit. So this is a beautiful method. It's checking for isDigit, and then you can give a condition. If message check is true, then you can just say print process complete. Now if it is not so, you can say else print, you can say please enter a valid number. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to run it. I'm saving it and I'm going to run it in the terminal. So Python str enter a valid number. So I'm going to say 12789. Process complete. Now let me run it one more time. I'm going to run it one more time. Python, and I'm going to say Hardy Boys. Okay, for phone number, right? Please enter a valid number. So that's the beauty of it. So probably I can remove much of these terminals which we have used. Okay, fine. So that is for isDigit. Now let me copy this. I'm going to copy this, and instead of isDigit, there is also a method called isNumeric. You can also use that method. So I will copy this and I'll comment this. So this is method number 16 is numeric. Okay, it does the same thing. Okay, this is used alternatively to isDigit. No difference. So if I were to run this code, and instead of saying isDigit, if I'm going to say isNumeric, I'm going to get the same answer. Right? This is exactly the same code which I've just utilized here. The only thing is that I am actually giving here isNumeric. So I'm going to save it and I'm going to run it. So Python, enter the phone number. I'm checking for isNumeric. So 890765 is numeric. Right? Process complete. Right? I'm running it one more time. Let me see the output. So Python, in this case I'm going to say Yuli, please enter a valid number. Fine. Okay, so let me run one more time. I'm going to say Python. Now in this case I'm going to enter 123.456. Please enter a valid number. You see that is numeric. The decimal is not accepted. Okay, so I have that in mind. So it can literally capture that decimal and send the information back to the user. So let me comment this off. Now, excuse me. Now I'm going to use the other method, the one more method. I'll just copy this off. Method 17. Method number 17. So what is this method? This method is going to be is decimal. Okay, is decimal. And let's see how this method works. So let me give the input cost. Input cost is equal to input. Please enter the cost. Okay, so we are entering a cost. I'm going to column this input cost and is decimal method, and if input check is true, print all is fine. Okay, else you print please check your value. Okay, now there may be specific scenarios where situations like this they turn up. So I'm saving it. I'm going to run this. When I run it, I say Python str, enter the cost. Now I'm going to enter 123.45. Please check your value. So in is decimal, it does not allow us to give this. So that is a noteworthy point. Okay, so that would mean in Python str, enter the cost, so that all is fine. You see that? So that would mean from this study, what we have come to a conclusion is that is decimal, is numeric, and is digit, they all work in the same line. Of course, you might be wondering how to distinguish, or distinguishing these things takes place during the processing. So that is where the catch would be. So having mentioned that, let me just move on. Next is method number 18. Now this is a lovely method. Now what does this method do? This method checks if you have given a valid identifier. Now you might be wondering, what is this? Why do we need this? Yes, we need this whenever you are writing or whenever you are in a huge projects. Sometimes people miss the basics. The basics is you need to know what ought to be used as an identifier. Okay, that is this check. So what does this do? This checks if one is using a valid identifier. That's in Python. Okay, now why do I say valid identifier? Say for example, these are variables. Okay, these are variables. Variable is equal to, say for example, there is a program which is utilizing a following set of variables. Say name underscore user. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. And let me just take it as variable 1. Copy this. So I'm going to give him different variables. Okay, dollar, percentage, and then let me change these things. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then user 0, 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to use a channel there. Okay, these are different variable names which have been used here. So we got to run a check. So which of these are valid? Okay, so we are going to utilize this identifier. Let me just go and print variable 1 is identifier. We got to call that method dot. This is a method we need to call is identifier. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this and paste it. Okay, and change 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and then we'll run it. So Python, okay, so clearly you can see it says true and then it says false, so this is not accepted, and then false, this is not accepted, and then false again, this is not accepted, and then false again, this is not accepted, and then true, this is accepted, right? And then false again, this is not accepted, and then false again. So this is a powerful program, right? Clearly you can see what you can use as variable and what you cannot use as variable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment this off. Having given you this vital information, let me just move on. So method number 20, so this, method number 19. So this is going to be method 19. So what is this method going to do? So this is called as isLower. Okay, now the purpose of this is if all characters are in lowercase, then it returns true. All of the characters in a string are in lowercase, then this method returns true. Okay, so there is some, this is very vital for text processing. Now some people, when they are writing a message, they will write everything in capital letters, right? So let me run this. So message is equal to hi, I will be available during lunchtime, so please contact me. Now this is how some people have the habit of sending messages. Now this is too taxing on the eyes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a check. So message check is equal to message dot isLower. I'm going to run this method. Okay, so we need to print this up. Print message check. Okay, so okay, it says false. You see that? It's false. So if it is false, you can suitably send in a message saying that you need to refine or reform or whatever. So whenever you see methods like isLower, isIdentifier, these are actually working in the capacity of conditional statement. So that is imperative for you to understand. Okay, and the next method, let me move on to method number 19. Now let me comment all of this. Method number 20. So method number 20 is printable. Okay, now sometimes people give messages to the printer which aren't printable. Now let me give you a classic example. So this is the message and the person is writing it in the following fashion. So dear sir, and then a line break. Will you be there? A line break for discussing the project. If so, can you this is what the person has given. Dear sir, line break, a line break, a line break. So many line breaks are there. So I'm going to say print. I'm going to run this message. Message dot is printable. Okay, and let me see what the outcome is. So I'm going to run this. Okay, so it says false. You see the message, the content has got characters which is not printable, so that would mean you're taxing the printer. You need to suitably give the information to the employee saying that don't have characters like this. So that again you need to run a check, a conditional check, and then send in the message. Okay, so much so let me just move on, and that's method number 20, and I'm going to give method 21. So how does this method work? Method number 21. So what is this method? This method is space. Now this is used to check for space. Okay, this method returns true if characters in the string are white spaces. Now where do we use them? Now let me give you a classic example. Now again, I want a username here. Okay, I want a username, and I'm saying input, please enter your name. I'm asking the user to enter the name. Now the user is entering empty spaces, so I want to check. So username check is equal to user name dot space. Okay, so there it is. So space. So if it returns true, if username check equals to true, then what should you do? Print, please enter a valid username. If not, else print thank you. Now this is a nice bit of code. Now most times whenever you're collecting data, people will simply give blank spaces. So let me show you how it works. So I'm just going to execute this. So it's going to be Python, excuse me, enter a name. I'm giving blank spaces. You see that? Please enter a valid username. So there is a beautiful check there. So that is for method number 21, and I'll go on to the next method. It's going to be method number 22. Method number 22 is title. Suppose you are actually presenting a paper, right? You're writing a research paper and you are sending it to the publisher. The publisher will have will actually put your paper into a system where your paper is subjected to several methods. Several methods would be hitting the content on your paper. In other words, there would be an application which will scrutinize if the format that you have used is in line with the format that the publisher is holding on, or the publisher has set in. So there, methods like this come into play. So this is the method that checks if the string is in title case. Okay, now all these things are to help both you and the publisher. The publisher will save his time and he will send in clear-cut information. Oh look, you are not putting the paper in the format. Say for example, you are planning to write about certain method. Okay, so let me just consider this to be the abstract. The abstract is equal to, you have to give a title to the abstract. So you are giving a title like this: the effect of inflation on the copper trade market, something like that. Now this is an important title and the content is actually coming out following this title. So the publisher will run this code: abstract check is equal to abstract dot is title. So there is the title check, and then if abstract check equal to true. Okay, you don't have to do anything. Print accept. Okay, if not, print, you can say your work needs proper formatting, because the publisher is interested only in the format. He is not interested in your content. Let me run this and show the outcome to you. So Python, so your work needs formatting, simple as that. So this can be captured as an input, or you can run it anywhere you want or in any manner you want. So this is a nice illustration. So having given you this illustration, let me move on to method number 23. Method number 23. This is upper, right? Sometimes it becomes necessary that you convert all of this information to uppercase, and it will give you either a true or a false. This method returns, now this does not convert to upper, but it will check if it is upper or lowercase. This returns true if the string is in upper. Okay, so to convert everything to upper, you got an uppercase method, you got an upper method. So message is equal to, you are giving it like this. Let me give this capital information or name of countries, say Australia, Mexico, Russia, and Serbia, then Hungary, Poland. Okay, I'm giving information like this. Now all of these name of the country, so it's fair enough that they are all in uppercase. So you can give a message check here. Message hyphen check is equal to message dot is upper. You can call in the method is upper. So I'm calling in the method is upper. If it is true, then no need any change. Okay. If message check is equal to true, then print no need any change. If not, print please change. A simple line of code, and you can also receive this as an input and run the check. So I'm going to run this. Python, no need change. That's exactly what we are actually expecting, because all of these things are uppercase. Now let me just give one as lowercase. Okay, and I'm going to run this code. You can check. Python, please change. You see, now the question is which of these is basically in lowercase, so that requires another line of code. Okay, so you need to convert the given string message into a list and start checking each of these elements. So that is how we do the coding. So that's a fantastic process. So having given you that, let me just go on to method number 24. Now method number 24 is join. So let me give that method. Method number 24. What does this method do? It joins the string. Okay, this method joins the items of an iterable with the string as a delimiter. Now let me give this illustration so that you can understand. So that's the definition for this join. Now let me give this fruit list. Fruit list is equal to, I'm going to give the list like this: apple, mango, cherry. Now delimiting something you can give like that. Delimiting, you can give a comma. Now this is the list and you want to actually join them and print. So how do we do the printing? So we just say print, bring in the delimiting as a separator, and then you need to call the join and then put in the fruit list. That's it. This comes in handy in a lot of cases. So I'm going to run it. Once I run it, you will be able to see Python code. So this is how it looks. You see that? It looks more better than this. Print fruit list. Suppose this is a list and I need to print the fruit list. I'm taking this off and I'm saving it and I'm printing this. Now you can clearly see when I run it, you see that this is the list. But what we did, okay, let me just close this off. What we did was far more better. We took this off, saved it, and then we used the join. So if I were to execute this, see how it looks. Much better, right? You see that? That's the beauty of this particular method. So having given you this method, let me comment this off and go to method 25. So let me give you this method. Now this is ljust. This is called ljust method number 25. And what does it do? Ljust. Now it returns a left justified version of a string. Okay, this method returns left justified version of a string. Now how does this work? Now let me give you this, say username. User name is say Hardy. Okay, now when you are printing, say you want it to be printed like this, print username dot ljust, and you want 60 characters or 60 spaces, and then give one asterisk, and then you save it. Now you will see the difference here. So Python, now before that let me print username use, so that you can see the difference when the environment is running. Okay, you see the difference? It's on the left side and everything is carrying an asterisk there. Now you can also do the writejust. Say, let me show you the writejust. Okay, I'm going to say print. Let me give you this method. Method 26 is rjust. Okay, so this method returns write justified version of the string. So I'm just going to copy this and then paste it, and instead of saying ljust, I'm going to say rjust. Now you will know the difference. So let me pull the environment and run Python. Clearly you see that this is left just and this is right just. Okay, that's how they work. So let me go back here. So this is method 26. I've given you method 26. So now I need to move on to method 27. So let me type that. Method 27 is lower. Now what does it do? This converts string into lowercase. Okay, completely lowercase. Say message input. Say suppose somebody wants to type a message. Message input is equal to hi friends, we are having a meeting in the boardroom at 3. Okay, this is the message that is being sent, but it's really taxing on the eyes. So what you can do is you can change this message sent is equal to message input, and then run the lower, and then you print the message, print information, and then come over here and then message sent. That's it. You save it and you run it. So Python, you have to comment this. So you can see the output here. Information, friends, everything is in lower. I did not comment the previous code. That's why it's displaying the output. But in this case, the output is it's good. We needed it to be in lowercase, and it is in lowercase. So what I will do, I will comment everything off and move on to method number 27. So method 27, what is that? It's is lstrip. Now lstrip is, if you put in some spaces, it will be removed from the left side. So let me give that command. So this method removes everything from the left end, okay, leading characters from the left end, or you can say leading characters. So how does this work? Say for example, you're sending an email and asking people to give in their name. So say for example, input, please enter your name. Please enter your name. And people are entering it with some spaces. When the input is given, I'll show you. So name check is equal to username, and in username you strip it off. You strip all unwanted things and you print name, comma, user check. Okay, so I'm running this code. You will see how the code looks. Okay, I'm going over here. I'm saying print Python. So please enter your name. Now I'm going to give some spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 10th place, I'm entering where. Say like this. Now, usually if you were to print this, it will be printing it with all the spaces. But I don't want that to happen. I want it to be stripped off. So you see that? All the spaces are stripped. So that's a beautiful illustration. Now, since I've given you lstrip, there is also rstrip. Now, the rstrip, let me demonstrate the rstrip. Let me comment this off. So let me go here. Method 28. What is that? That's rstrip. So rstrip, what does it do? This method removes everything. Let me correct that. Everything from the right end. In this case, it's going to be the characters that are coming at the rear end. So if I were to say username, please input, please enter username. Right, this is the request, and user check is equal to username r strip. I'm going to strip everything, r strip, and then I'm going to print the name, comma, user check. Let's go to the code, let's go to the terminal and see how it's going. Python, enter your name. I'm going to enter bear like this, bear, and I'm going to give a space. This has got not much an impact here. So where to print the username over here, I'm going to say your booking is confirmed, something like that. So this will give a better meaning. Your booking is confirmed. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take in the same thing and I'm going to paste it over here. Now you will find a huge difference in these two outputs. Now let me show that to you. Now I'm going to say Python and enter the name. I'm going to say bear. I'm going to give the spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. You see that your booking is confirmed. You see that this space is retained. Over here, our strip comes into play and takes away the space. That is the beauty. I hope this illustration is very clear, right? It's very explanatory. So what we do is we just go on and give this method 29. So what does it do? This method is partition, and what does it do? This returns a tuple. The string is split into 3 parts. That's the beauty of this, 3 parts. So the first part, the part where the delimiter is, and the part where that is following the delimiter. So that's how the split goes. Let me give this example to you, how exactly it works. So items, I'm going to say items is equal to mango, cherry, and then oranges. Now when you say print items dot partition, and then you want to send in cherry there, so you see how the output is going to look. So open it and then run the Python code. You see how the tuple is created exactly. This is how we can create tuple from the given input. So the input from the string is actually we are extracting elements from a given string. So that's the beauty of it. It's imperative to understand that whenever you are handling string data items are immutable. Have that in mind. So these methods are there to ensure that the string that we have got can be manipulated. That's the reason. So let me move on to the next one. So remove prefix. So this is the next method. So it's all straightforward methods. So method number 30. Method 30 is remove prefix. So what does it do? This method removes the prefix from a string. I want to remove certain prefix from, say, let me give you this name. Say user underscore username. Username is equal to, say for example, this string is given. Now somebody has given Dr. Kevin, but apparently the person is not holding a doctorate. The person is just holding a Mr. Now what you got to do, you will not be able to manipulate this data because it's in string form. So you will have to strip the doctor out, and you will have to add in the Mr. So let me just user name 1. So I take in the username, right? And in the username I'm going to say remove prefix. So you need to send in what you want to remove. I just want to remove dr there, and then user name 2. In username 2, what I want to do, I want to get this Mr. here, and I want to place a concatenation, and then I want to place the username 1. It's not 2, it's 1. And then I will say print name of the person is username 2. Okay, I hope you're following. We are just removing this strip out, and then we are just concatenating Mr. So let me check how this output is going to look. So Python Okay, you see that, Mr. Kevin? So we got that done. So I have actually removed, probably you can give a space and save it, and then you can run it. It looks more better, Mr. Kevin. Okay, that's perfect. So he's a very popular person, so we need to know how to address people. So having mentioned you this method, let me move on to method number. We got around 20, approximately 20 more methods, right? So this is first 30 methods, so we will have to continue. So let's see the next method. So I'm going to comment this off. I'm going to go to the method number 31. So this is remove suffix, straightforward. This method removes the suffix from the string. So if there is a suffix, it will be removed. Now what is the illustration we are going to look? So let me just say username, and apparently the username has got, say, Jim and some unwanted characters like this. So this has to be removed. So you can say user name check is equal to username, and from the username I'm going to call in remove suffix. And what suffix I'm going to remove? I'm going to remove this one, and then I'm going to say print. So you save that and you run it, Python. So Jim, that thing is stripped off. Lovely code. So we will continue further. We are heading to method number 32. So let me place that method. Method number 32. Now what is this method? This method is called as replace, and what does it do? It replaces the specified phrase. It can be a phrase or a word or a substring by another specified phrase. Okay, so that's its job. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say message. This is the message sent out by the supervisor. You must complete this job by 7 p.m. today. This is a harsh message, right? If the staff is seeing this message, there is a highly likelihood of the staff not completing the message, and it also puts the employee under stress. So we don't want that to take place. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to give it in this fashion: message reform is equal to message ins, and then I'll run this replace method. And replace, instead of saying you must complete, I'm going to say please complete this job. That's fine. And then I will print it. Print message reform. Okay. Now let me run it. Python. You see that? Please complete this job by 7 p.m. today. So complete this job is a little bit harsh, in fact. But when you say please, you are making a request and also telling the person that this particular job is of vital importance. So that method comes in very much handy. Now we will move on to method number 33. 33, and what is that method? Name of the method is rfind. Now this is also functions in the same manner as the previous method, but the only thing is that it returns the index in this case. Okay, such as the string or a phrase or a substring, and if it is found, the position is returned. If not, the value -1 is returned. So if it is not found, -1 will be returned. Okay, so let me take in this message. So message is equal to all jobs are completed. Right, now you are looking for this word completed. So message check. This is the email receipt, so you want to ensure that the tasks, all the given tasks are completed. So you're looking for this. So you send in this information. Now, in fact, you can directly get this printed. So I'm just going to say print message check. Okay, so completed should be there. You're looking for the word completed. So you go up and you run it. You see that it's present. So that is how you check. Now let me go back over here and look for the word complete. I want to run this command Python. It says 13. So in this case, it checks for this word when it starts. So there is no conditional check in this case, that it has to exactly be the same. So that's one point of observation. Now if the C is removed and still you are checking, then you will get a -1. Python, you see that -1 is displayed. So that is about this particular method, and we will comment this off and we will move on to method number 34. So this is called as rIndex. Now this is similar to rFind, but the only thing is that if you use this at a sensitive spot and if what you are searching is not present, then it will throw an exception. Now let me take in the same thing, the same message, and give it over here. All jobs are completed, and then I will say print message.rIndex of the word completed. Now what I will do here is I'll go and give this method rIndex. This functions the same manner as rFind, but will throw an exception if the word or the phrase is not found. Okay, so that's a simple way to tell about this particular method. So I'm going to save it and I will run it, and I will say Python. Now it's found. Okay, now just in case I'm taking this C off, I'm saving it. Now you see that the exception is thrown out. So this, you got to be careful when you're using this particular method, because it might break the application. So that is the difference between these two methods that I just stated. Okay, so let me go to the next one, method number 35. Now this is called as rjust. Now what does it do? It returns a right justified version of the string. Okay, now how does this work? Suppose we want to give the names of the guests. Okay, so we are actually requesting for an input. Please enter the name. Now we take the name, we want the name to be right justified. And how are we going to do that? So I'm going to say print name of the guest dot rjust, and I want to give in, say, 30 spaces, and I want an asterisk. So you give an asterisk and you print this. So let me check, or let me show you how the thing comes out. Oh, this is not the file you're looking for. This is the file. So please enter the name. I'm going to enter Tom. Say something like that, Professor. You see that it's right justified. So it starts from the right and it displays the name first. It starts from this end, it displays the name. Now, since I've given you rjust, there is also called as something called as left just. Okay, so let me also show you that. So what I will do, I will copy this off and I will comment this, and I will go to method number 36. This is ljust. So it returns a left justified version of the string. Okay, so there is some beautiful rain and it gives a good effect while coding. So going on, name of the guest, name, enter the name, we are entering the name, we are giving a ljust there, and I'm going to run it. So if I were to run it, I will get Python, enter the name, and then you say Tom Professor. You see that it starts from the left end and then it gives dash. Now you don't want to give these stars. You can simply give a blank space, and then you can write. You can actually run the code. Python. Okay, enter the name Tom. Okay, there is a blank space there. Okay, so it's your choice. That's the best way to say. Now moving on, let me go on to method number 37. Now this is a nice method. Strings are immutable. That means you cannot alter them, but you need to convert the string data into some other data types that has the ability to alter the string. So this comes in very much handy. So let me mention that. Method 37, this is called as R partition. And what does this do? It returns a tuple where the string is split into 3 parts. Okay, so 3 parts meaning the first part and the delimiter, which is separating the data, and the third part would be the part that follows the delimiter. Now suppose I'm going to say health vitamins is equal to, I'm going to say vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C. So these are the 3 things which have been given here. Now if I want to say print, I'm going to say print health vitamins, and then I'm going to run the R partition, and this is how the split will take place. So it will group the first part followed by the second part with the delimiter and the third part. So let me show the output to you. This is the grouping followed by the delimiter and then the third part, the final part. So that is about this particular method. So we'll move on to the next one. The next one is called as rsplit or split. Now this method splits the string at the specified separator. Let me just state the method. Method 38. I'm going to say split and write the method. Okay, this method splits the string at the specified separator. Okay, so suppose you have this content fruits is equal to say mango, apple, peach, pineapple. I'm going to say fruits modified is equal to fruits dot split, and then I'm going to say print fruits modified, and then I'm going to say print type of fruits modified. Okay, so now what I'm doing in this particular line of code, I am calling on the method onto this. Now it's getting printed, and then I want to know the type of the conversion. So what has been converted into? So that is required. I want to know that. So let me save it. Now you might be asking, why am I interested in this? Because as I mentioned to you, if you have a string data, you cannot do anything with that. So you need to convert that string data into another data type which allows you free conversion. When I say conversion, it's manipulation. We need that. So I'm going to run this Python. You see that? When you use split, it actually converts the given data, which is string data type, into a list data type. So this is a very good method. It's a nice method. Now suppose you want to use rsplit. Now let me just comment this. In fact, let me copy this and then comment this off. So this is method number 39. It is rsplit. This functionality is exactly the same as the split functionality. So what we are going to do is we are going to say rsplit. That's it. We're going to call this method and we're going to check the output. So let me run Python. You see that? The functionality is exactly the same as split. So that's method number 39. Now we move on to method number 40. So what is this? This is called as rstrip. Now what does it do? It removes any trailing characters which are at the end of a string. So let me give the definition. This method removes any trailing characters which are present at the end of the string. Okay, so I'm going to say name user is equal to, now say Jasmine, and I give a space, and then I'm going to give another message is equal to you are selected. Okay, now let me increase the spacing, and then I'm going to say complete message is equal to username, name of the user I want this to be printed. I'm using a concatenation symbol, and then I'm going to say message. Okay, probably I'll give some spacing. Now if I print completed message, you will see how the output looks. So let me run this Python. So you see that there's a huge space there. There's a huge space there. And in case if the space is more, you will have a greater spaced message, which doesn't look good. You see that? See the spacing. Now that is where our R strip comes into play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say name user formatted is equal to, on this I'm going to call an R strip method, and it is going to strip everything that is after the name. Over here I'm going to say formatted, and now I'm going to print this, so you will see the difference. So Python, okay, you are selected. Of course, this shows that all of the spaces are removed following the name. Now what you can do, you can just go over here and give one space and save it and run it. So if you were to run that, you will get the following. Let me go over here. Okay, this looks fine. So let's go on to the next method. So I'm going to comment this off, and this is method number 41. Method 41, what are we going to talk about? We are finished with our strip split lines. This is also a nice method. Now what does this do? This method actually splits the string at the line break and it returns the list. Now as I told you, the data in the string are immutable, so you need to find out ways by which you can perform operations on the string, and the data that you will be getting will be in string format, because whenever you're asking information from the user is going to provide you with information in string format. So that's a very important point you have to know. You say split lines, there should be an S there, split lines. This method splits the string at the line break and returns a list. Okay, so let me just give you the following information. Say selected students, and I'm going to give in the following. Andrew, you are giving a line break. Okay, Andrew, a line break. Then Jack, a line break. Tom, a line break. Jessica, a line break. Rosie, a line break. Candy, a line break. Isabella, a line break. And then finally Marvin, a line break. Okay, so this is the string, and what we are going to do is names list is equal to selected students. On selected students you run split lines. That's it. That's all you need to do. And then you print the name list, and then also print the type of the name list, so that you will know that the data type that is being produced. So I'm moving on here. I'm going to run Python. So clearly you see that the information is converted into a string. I should say the string information is converted into a list, and from here you can do all of the operations that you want on this particular information, because you can extract, you can print results, you can alter their performances. When I say alter their performances, in the sense, some students, if they are falling short of their grades and if they need some 10 additional points or something like that, you can actually go back and make a review where exactly they have fallen short, right? Usually this is carried out whenever you have a student who's missing by 5 points or 10 points as grade B or grade A. They will perform a review. So those alterations are done, and the type clearly says it's class list. Okay, so having mentioned that, let me move on to the next method. So the next method, it starts with, this is a nice method. It's also, as I mentioned to you, this is used in text processing. Okay, starts with. So it will give you a true if the value is present. Okay, let me give you returns the value true if what you are looking for is present. So that's the functionality. Now message body. Let me give a message body. I want the message body to start with dear sir and madam. This is the body I want to start with, dear sir and madam. Okay, apparently imagine you don't have this dear. I'm looking for this dear. I want dear sir and madam. Or you can say dear madam and sir. So I want this dear to be present as a salutation or as a greeting. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a message check. Message check is equal to message body. On message body, I'm going to say starts with, and what we are looking for. You're looking for dear, and then you print the message check. That's it. So let me just go and run the code. So Python true. Now what if it's not present? So I'm going to take this body off and I'm going to save it and I'm going to run it. So Python, okay, it says false. That's fantastic. So now we go to strip. Now strip is a nice method. Let me run that method for you. So method number 43 is strip. Now what does this method do? This method removes any leading. See, we already saw the trailing spaces, but this method removes any leading and trailing characters. Right? By default, what does it do? It will remove white spaces. That's what it will do. So this is a very good method. It's a powerful method. Now you might be wondering, what is this? Why not we use the previous method which we just saw? Right? We have seen methods before which has this functionality, but it is imperative to understand each of these methods, they follow a different processing time, and I will take a different class on that. Let me just take this one. Excuse me, username is equal to, I'm going to give a space, I'm going to give Tom, and I'm going to give a space. So it's got white spaces. and then I'm going to say message is equal to hi, okay, a space. This is message 1. Okay, message 2. Message 2 is your transcripts are ready. Please collect them from front office. So I will give a starting, a leading space like that. So my plan is, or I would say, what I want to do is information message info. I would like to pass in all this information to this user. Now, this sort of messaging is very convenient. Suppose you are at the front office. All you need is to do just enter the name, and you can have a small application designed using Python code, and this message would simply be sent, just getting the name. So what we are planning to do is we are planning to combine all of these. So let's see how it is combined. So username, in username, and I want message 1 to be placed in, and then message 2 to be placed in. So message 2, and then I want this to be printed. So print message info. Okay, that's it. Now you will see, if we do not use this strip method, how the output is generated. Python, you see that there is a space here, there's a space here, and when people see these informations, they get into the mode of judgment. What sort of place is this which is sending messages like this? So we need to avoid that. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to say username format is equal to username. Now on this username, I want the strip method to be applied. So I'm calling the strip method. So the strip method will remove the spaces, and then I'm going to take this username and I'm going to access, or I would say use that to sending in the message. So let me just save it over here. I'm saving it and I'm running the code. Okay, so clearly you can see Tom, the space is removed at rear as well as at the front. The space is removed. Now what we can do is we can give a space over here, Tom hi or hi Tom. So I can shift these messages in this fashion. So what I wish to do is I would like to take this off and place that over here, and then remove that concatenation symbol. So over here we are stripping the message 1 would be hi, so there's a space there, and that will look into or look after all the things that we need. When I say look after, it means it will display the message in a proper fashion. So you clearly, as you can see, hi, that space is from hi, okay, but the message or the space before and after Tom has been stripped off. So that is a beautiful way of sending email communications to students. Now 44th method, let's move on. Method number 44. Now this is used as a way to swap the cases, that is the lowercase will become uppercase and uppercase will become lowercase. So let me type that method, swap cases. This method is used to change lowercase to uppercase and vice versa. So how does this happen? Say for example, you want the names to be displayed in lowercase. Say for example, user email. I'll give it like this. User email is equal to, this person is giving a name like this, Tom at 123. Okay, now email user reformed or format. This is the format you want. So you take the email user and you run the swap case, and after you run or after you have executed that, you just say user name. You can send this information to the user, email user format, and then you execute this. Okay, so clearly you can see that the username is Tom converted into the case lowercase, and the rest of the elements or rest of the numbers are retained as it is. So that's a beautiful way of using this particular method. So we move on to, excuse me, method number 45. So method 45, so this is actually used for title, right? If you have a name and you want to give this method, it has the ability to do text processing. So for example, this method converts the first character of each word to uppercase. Now this is a nice method. So for example, project title, say I'm giving or I'm requesting this information, project title, and the person is entering a title like this, is the secret of El Dorado. Okay, now this is the title of the project, and the person has entered everything in capital letters except the first word, the. Now some people think in a different way. Probably they wanted to emphasize the term El Dorado, so they have capitalized it, but we don't need it. So what we are going to do is we are going to say project title format is equal to project title. We take the project title and we run the title command, the method. So if we run the title method, we can print the information. Print, say you can say correction, and place a comma and project title format. So you can send these recommendations to the author so that the author would be able to check and correct the paper. I'm going to say Python. So correction, every letter which starts in the word is capitalized. So that is how this particular method works. So what we will do, we will actually comment this off and then move on to method number 46. Method number 46 is upper. Suppose you want to, this method converts everything to uppercase, right? Now this is specifically used, as I mentioned to you, text processing, say in countries, for addressing the name. So countries name, let me give a variable like this, and I'm going to say Australia, Congo, Niger, Ghana, Russia, Serbia, Brazil. Okay, so these are the names, countries, name format, this is a variable I'm doing, is equal to country's name, and then on this I'm going to run upper, and then I will print this off, print the list, and then give country's name format. Okay, save it and you run it. Python, so you can clearly see the list, you can see the names are all in capital letters, all of them are capsed. So now I'll comment this off and I will move to method number 47. Method 47, this is lower. Now this method converts, there's a spell mistake. This method converts everything to lowercase. When I say everything, I'm talking about data, right? Now suppose message input, please enter your text, please enter your message. This is the message that would be received from the user, and we need to format this. I'm sure that the user will not enter the message in the way that we want her to enter, or we want the message to be in. It's not going to happen. So the message has to be received and the method has to be applied, and we will print the message. Your message is message format. Okay, so you save it and you run it. So we say Python, please enter the message, I will be there for the meeting, but a bit delay. This is the message entered by the user. Now if you're going to be transmitting this message, this would be very eye straining to the people who are reading it because it's in capital letters. But you see here, I will be there for the meeting. So this is a lovely bit of changing the things in the format that you want. And you can also utilize one more method in making this to be a capital letter, right? You can always do that. You can, and even not even one method, you can use even two methods. It's up to you. So that's for method 47. So next is zfill. Now this is an interesting method. Let me comment all of this. Now I'm moving on to method 40. Method 48. Method 48, this is zfill. This is a good method. Now what does it do? This method fills the string with specified number of zero values. Okay, at the beginning, that's very important. Now input number, input, let me give this, okay, cost 1, and we are actually getting this value. Input, please enter the cost. Please enter the cost of the tire. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to change it. Please enter the cost of bumper. Please enter the cost of broom. Please enter the cost of headlight. please enter the cost of gas. The gas is very important. So I'm going to change this. This is 2, 3, and 5. I'll copy this and then I'll paste it, and then I'll change this 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm declaring a variable here. I need to change it to 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm going to say print the expenses for the journey. Yes. Then you give the print cost1 format. You copy that and then you paste it, and make sure to change this variable 2, 3, 4, and 5. You save it and you run the code. Tire $300, bumper 500, rim 300, headlight 600, gas 10,000. Okay, so now you can see how exactly the method works. See, 300, 500, and then 300, and then 600, and 10,000. Okay, so that's how this method is used, and we have seen this output. So now there is one more method I want to give you, that's called as decode. So method number 39, that's the decode method. Now this is used to decode the encoded string. Now this is of vital importance, specifically in email communications. You need to secure them. So I'm going to give an illustration here. So we're going to start by giving a message. Message is equal to your tender has been approved. So please complete the formalities. Now this is an important message. Now when you send the message is not going to be sent as you have written here. It's going to be encoded. So we are going to call the method encode, and we are going to utilize UTF-8. This is what we are going to do. So what we are trying to do here, we are going to encode the given message into Unicode transformation format. It's an 8-bit transformation. That's the reason I'm specifying 8 there. And then I'm printing it out. Print message that is coded. Okay. I'm running the code. You see that B appears. So that means this is converted, or this is encoded into bytes. That's the understanding. Now how are we going to read this message? So when the message is again sent by, or I should say received by the concerned party, the person will not be able to read this code message. So we will have to convert this. So that is where the decode method comes into play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to say message decoded is equal to message coded, and on this message coded I'm going to apply this decode method. Decode, what are you going to decode with? This is the key, UTF-8. You need to send this, and then you say print message decoded. You follow me? So probably you can say print coded message, and then you go up here, message coded, and then you can give a print statement, and then you come over here and then you say print decoded message. Then you come over here, probably it's already printed. Okay, so you save it and you'll be in a better position to understand this now. Python, yeah, like executing it. So this is the coded message. It's not in human readable form, it would be in bytes, and this is the decoded message. So your tender has been approved, right? So this is the message. So that is actually part of a security process. Email communications are very sensitive, and it is imperative that these security measures are put into place. So having mentioned that, we have covered up until 49 methods, and I have done it all extensively with applications so that you will be in a better position to understand and appreciate. Thank you, students. Enjoy your day.